So the first step in doing this problem is, again, to list your facts. So I'm going to be listing my facts, and if I look at the problem, it says, in an emergency, a driver brings a car to a full stop in 5 seconds. So right there I have two facts. So if the driver is bringing a car to a full stop in 5 seconds, then I know that at the end of the trip it will not be moving, and it's happening in 5 seconds. So just based on this and that, I can write that my final velocity is 0 meters per second, and my time is 5 seconds. And try and write, if it does say 5.0 instead of 5, write out exactly what they have there for units. Usually my final answer, I prefer 3 significant digits in your final answer. 2 I'll accept, 1 you'll lose a point. So now it says that the car can decelerate at 8.5 meters per second squared. Now the key word here is decelerate. Decelerate means slow down. So the only thing that can be negative in horizontal straight line motion is the acceleration. So that value right there, A, is going to be negative 8.5 meters per second squared. So again, there's only 2 questions that I could ask. What's the displacement, or what's the original velocity? Because those are the only 2 things left. And the question is, what was the velocity of the car before braking began? So this velocity is the original velocity. So that's the 4th fact. And I'm going to put question mark, and I'm going to put the units. So that would be 4 points for having all the correct facts and the units down for all of them. So that's the checklist when you're saying, am I going to get all 4 points? Do I have units for everything, including the unknown, because that's the one that people forget. If you do that, you'll have 4 out of 4. Step 2 is to pick the correct equation. The only fact we don't have on the board is the S, the displacement. So we look for the formula that doesn't have the S, and that's VF equals VO plus AT. Now I tell you that don't plug in numbers until you've done the algebra, but the one thing that I do allow you to do right off the bat is, if anything, is a 0. Because it will make the math sometimes much easier if you can eliminate, if you can simplify the formula, because we know some of the variables are 0. So in this one, the final velocity is 0, so you are allowed to cancel that out if that helps. Now, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference on this one, but I can do that. So if I want to solve for VO, because VO is my unknown, then I need to move this to the other side. So if it's a positive AT on the right side, it'll be a negative AT on the left side. And I prefer to have my unknown on the left. It doesn't matter, but I like to have this on the left side. So I'm going to write my step 3 as VO is going to be minus AT. VO equals minus AT. And now when I plug in the numbers, I'm going to get VO equals, now this is what, minus signs and squares are the reason why I say to put parentheses. Because facts can have minus signs, and facts can have squares. So I want to make sure that if I use parentheses, that any square that's in a formula is on the outside, and any minus that's part of the formula is on the outside. So for me, I'm going to have minus A times T. So plugging in the numbers, the A is minus 8.5 meters per second squared, and the time is 5 seconds. So notice my answer does come out to be positive, because a minus times a minus is a plus, and the original velocity has to be plus. If it's horizontal, the only variable in horizontal motion that can be negative is acceleration. So solving this, 8.5 times 5 is 42.5. Now that's the number. And if I look at my units, the second would cancel one of the seconds here, so I will get my answer in meters per second. So there's your final answer. Any questions on that?